Hi everybody, how is everybody doing today? So, I hope you're all well and busy crafting away. I am coming back to do another, I think I'm going to do 2 pages on this. I've got sort of an idea on how I want to do the front page, so it might follow its way onto the second page in. If you haven't already watched the second part, I won't tell you how I've built the third page up, but you might want to go and watch that one because you might see a little bit of the third page. So this page, you might see a little bit of it. So if you haven't watched this page, then I don't want any spoiler alert, you might see it if you haven't watched it. So I've gathered some bits together. I have wrapped my papers as I have normally done all the way through this process, and I've wrapped my fabrics and any other, beginning to get little bits out. So I've got the little bits that I had right at the beginning, I just didn't use of. I don't know whether I'm going to use that one. I'm not sure. So I've left it there. These are just the little bits I had on my desk, and I just thought, well, they make their way in, they make their way in. I made this on the live last Friday, so I want to take this kind of inspiration for my front page. Now, I've got some fabrics out, as you can see, and my paper collection underneath. Now, when I was on my walk today for the dogs, I came across these flowers, and I don't know whether the camera is going to pick that up. I'm hoping it will. Right there. There you go. That is exactly how I picked it up. I did actually pick off the main flower, but it was all in different colours, and I just loved the spotted effect on the flowers. So I sort of want to take them sort of colour sets, and the under ones are kind of on a bluish kind of colour. I want to take that sort of colour set onto the top page. I've also started to pick these up. Now I've popped them in a little bit of water because they've started to wilter, and the minute flowers wilter, they don't make very best for pressing. So I've just popped them in a little bit of water, hoping that these will open up a little bit more. The white flowers are starting to, because they were kind of closed, and I'll be adding them at some stage. I definitely want to add them to my front page. I've just popped them in a little jar that I had beside of me. So the front page. Now I've got an idea how I want to do this. I sort of want to, I'm going to turn the anti-focus off, otherwise it's going to keep trying to find the focus when there is nothing to find. I sort of want it to have like a fabric hinge. I know what I want. So I got some tea stained paper here, but I don't want it too dark. So what I might do is, and I know some of you are going to shoot me for this, is I'm going to tear off the sides, because the sides seem to be darker than the middle of the page for some reason. There we go, perfect. I don't want it too dark, and that's more than a white scale. So I will use these, but whether it be on this project, I couldn't say. So I want a bit of a flip on this front cover. Probably have to snip a little bit more down, I expect. I don't know whether I want it on top, but then if I cut, I'll cover all that, which is a shame. Or should I have it, or should I have it sort of to the side? Ideas. My thinking is I don't want it too big. It's gonna have some sort of cover on. Yeah, I'm gonna just rip some of this down, so I'm going to make it a little bit smaller for myself. And again, I'll probably use this back in the journal. So yeah, there we go, perfect. So that's how I want it. I want to still be able to see some of this writing on the front. And I've got some of these covers. I kind of want to use them, but I don't know which one I actually do want to use, or do I want to use something that's got a bit of writing on, just for the front of this. Oh, I like that. Yeah, I like that indeed. I think I'm going to go with the pink. It will match the blue as well. They did the pink. And I'm going to sort of rip it down to scale. I want to fold it first. I'll show you what my meaning of my fabric hinge, what I mean by that. I just want to fold them in, and I'm just going to rip this off. I'm going to rip. Now I could either rip that off, or I could do a little bit of a tuck inside the book. So that's going to go in there, and that's going to go just there like so. So I'll be able to journal inside here, kind of like that. Yeah. But I want to sort of have a fabric hinge on it, as if it's always been like that. So before I cut these papers down, I've actually got it folded in 4, believe it or not. Okay, and wait a minute, this way. Is it that way? No, it's this way. There you go. So I've now got 4 pages to pop inside my little booklet. It does come over a little bit, but in the you're not going to notice that. For what I want to do, you won't notice it at all. And I'm going to make sure that that just sits on the edge, so I am able to see some of the writing, because I don't want to cover it entirely up, because if I did that, I've put this on the wrong side. Then it's pointless. If this had been, let me show you, if this had been the front cover, maybe I've done it the wrong side, but these things, this is why I'm doing it in here, not in my main journal. So I'm going to use a little bit of fabric. Now I've got some of this antique fabric that I kind of like the look of. I bought it off eBay. I'll show you it now. And I want to see if it matches in with everything, or could I make it matching? Yeah, I could. So I'm going to use this because I kind of like the material. It is vintage, so I want to cut. I don't want to cut a lot off. The pages can stay there. I don't want to cut a lot off. I just want to cut a snippet off, so you're going to see it on the edge. So you're going to see it on the edge. That's as much off as I really want to cut. So I'm going to go here. And I'm going to take my scissors. And then I'm going to cut. I am going to rip this because I want a ripped look. I don't want it as straight as it can be. There you go. So take this. And I want to stick that on top of there. You can sort of see, I hope you can see where I'm coming from. And then I've got some ideas on what I want to do. So my first point of call, before I sew the pages in, now I could either sew them so that the sew line comes over the fabric, or I think what I'll do is I'll sew them as is, so when I glue my fabric or stitch my fabric on top, you're not going to see where I've put the stitches. So I'm going to go and sew this in. I think I've shown you guys before how I stitch the middle of journal pages in. I tend to use a pad and a needle and go from there. So I'm going to do this. I will fast forward this section so you guys get to see, and I will be back once I've stitched that little cover on, because I've got some ideas. Okay, so I'm back. So what I've done, I hope you guys can see the colour that it's left me. Again, this is not watercolour paper, it's just card. So I'm now going to take my glue and my snippets that I've been like saving. I'm going to open it up because it's a little bit easier once it's opened. And I just want to make sort of like a little pocket, a little tuck for me to put something in. Say my name, because it's going to go in the front anyway. This is blue. I kind of like that there, sitting there. I do forget you guys can't see. I kind of like that sitting there, but I was thinking more of like little strips. in there. Stick that there. Let me see, what else have I got in here. I'm going to play about because I want to put a pocket in the bottom, and I'll be back once I've done that because that does take me a while to do. So I'll fast forward this section again and you'll sort of see me building my pocket up. So I wanted a bit of a tie to tie this together. I'm going to use the tie that I've got with the saying. I think it'll be really pretty. So I want to leave quite a nice gap, because if I do decide to add to this little bit, it's going to be more like a writing journal rather than me fill it up with ephemeras and stuff. But if I wanted to add photos, then I want it to have some sort of support where it's tied but it's not going to interfere. So I'm going to cut it at an angle, and I don't know if I've got some a button clasp would be quite nice. Yeah, button clasp. A button clasp. So I'm going to go and sew 2 buttons and a buttonhole. I'm going to sew a buttonhole just there, and then I'm going to put the button on this side to sew through there, and then I'm going to put the buttonhole on this side and sew, wait no, so there. So if I wanted to extend it, it's there ready for me to do it. So I'm going to go and create some buttonholes and sew some buttons, and I'll be back once I've done that because I'm not going to be able to do that on film. So bear with me, I will be back once it's finished. Okay, so I am back. I've got the vintage buttons out, of course I did, and I've made this little tie. I'll show you how I've made it. There's 2 buttons on here, 2 vintage buttons. I really gently, because this is just a bit of ribbon, what I did was I sewed a button and done a buttonhole, and the same on this side. I've done a buttonhole, then I've sewed the button on the inside. There is a reason for it. And then I've just taken one of my bulb pins, and I thought green would match well with everything. The red looks quite, I don't know, the red looks quite full on. I think the white wouldn't stand out. The white looks nice, but it wouldn't stand out the way I want it to. The black, yeah, that looks nice. The grey, yeah, and then the silver and see the gold. See, I don't think the yellow is the wrong colour. Oh, yellow could, perhaps. I don't know. But anyway, I'm sticking with green for now. So what I've done is, like I say, I've sewed a button on the inside of my strip. This is just a piece of this. That's all it is. It's just trim ribbon. I think I had it from the range, to be fair. So how I want to do this, and my buttons came from Miss Ali. So how I want to do this is, it's going to get wrapped around here, and the first button's going to go in there. Now I can either have that dangling or I can put it through it, and as it gets full I could what could I do? Not do it too full. So no, that's right, 2 buttons is quite tight. I'll show you what the 2 buttons look like if I can get my fiddly fingers through there. So it's still fairly loose, but it's not as tight. And then as I do it full, that's how loose it's going to become. So I don't want to lose the looseness of it, but I am going to stick that totally down flat. And I want to push this edge all the way to the edge, so I've still got this. Now what I'm debating now is to make this, I think I'm going to do some more of my stenciling on this page, but just leave it in white and not touching it at all. And I think the other thing I'm going to do is just scuffle the edge up a bit. There. Oh, I don't know, I might just leave it as is because I like the writing. That's what it would look like on the side. So because I want to keep this as loose as to be, now this section, as you saw me crafting, there is a pocket, so I could stick something down there. Because I want to stick this as loose as I want it to be, what I am going to do is I could do 2 things. I could either take this off from there. I could either sew this directly down, which I probably would catch this in and then it's stuck, or I could, and this is what I will do, I'm going to show you. So I'm going to sew from there to there to there to there, so I leave about 1/2 inch movement, so my thing is still able to move around. It's not going to be sliding off, but that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch all this down, and then for the back I'm thinking of decorating it up. I don't know what to use though, that's the only thing. So I might be here for a while. I don't want anything, I want something plain, but I don't want it to be, haha, that'll do perfect. So yeah, that'll do just perfect. And I'm gonna just fold this over, and I'm just going to fold this over so I know how much to cut off the ruler. Where's my ruler gone? There. So I'm gonna go and sew this, and you'll probably see me once I finished it. But I'm gonna make sure that I've got my loop to catch my piece, and that's gonna go just there, and then I'll probably do something on the inside here. That's my thoughts anyway. So I'm gonna go and stitch this, and then I'm gonna stitch that to this. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do, and obviously I need to catch this in between. So you probably won't, actually I think you might. I'm gonna fast forward, I'm gonna set myself up because I'll need to work out whether am I gluing this or am I not, so that I've got everything where it's supposed to be. It's a little bit bigger, but that doesn't bother me at all. Okay, and I'm going to go fast forward and I'll see you once I finish. As you can see, I've stuck that little front cover on, and I'm able to move this, so I'm able to, you know, do my buttons up if I wanted to do them up. I didn't take into account how, so that is basically how I wanted my cover to be. Now I do have a gap up the top and a gap here. I am missing the writing, but neither to fear. I could, if I wanted to, add a little bit of lace, and I don't think I'm gonna. I think I'm just gonna leave it as is, because you know, that is a perfect place to tuck stuff. You know, so it doesn't matter. And I've got the little keyring there. The only thing left to do is to, come on, right, is to stick something on the front, because I've done it on the back. So on the front I have these little cards. I kind of like the idea of sticking them on. I'm not going to do any collaging. I might get the stencil out and do some stenciling. So if you are following this and you've come back on, I might have done some stenciling off camera. You know, the same stencil I used here, I might do in the inside page there. To me that looks perfect. I'm quite happy with that. Do I want to add any lace trim? I could possibly add some, yeah. I think that would quite work well actually. So I'm just stick this down, and then that be this section done. I thought I was going to do 2 pages. I obviously just got one done tonight. One done tonight, but that's not to say that when I come back on and see you again, because I kind of got an idea of what I want to do. Is doing it sometimes is putting your ideas down. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue, because that is fabric, and then I'm going to take this glue . Okay, and I'm going to tuck that right under and close it completely. And that will be my page to that. Now, the only thing I've done throughout, and I haven't really done to this, is I haven't written down what I like most about it. So I think I'm going to write it on this and leave that completely plain. Okay, so what I've written down is, I like the idea of the front of the journal having a mixture of fabric and paper. I love the idea of having a mini pocket, something to store my dry flowers in perhaps. Definitely a must for my main journal. I love this idea that I've done of creating sort of a different place to pop things in. I mean, I could do either or, but it'd still work. And then that would flip up to the next page and I just continue it. So my next page is definitely, I think, going to be this one. But I like how it, even though you saw me how many pages I added, it's kind of giving it a bit of depth to it. I really like that idea. So yeah, I'm definitely going to try it. And I love the those things that I had in my paper pack. I don't know where they've gone now. These over the writing. Because it really does add, like, I could store anything in that. I love it so much. And my little button dangles. Well, anyway, let me know what you loved most about this. I want to do the second page next, but my mind is going to the last page. Yeah, my mind's wandering to this page for some reason. I've still got plenty of the pages. I mean, I've got a pocket there, and I've got a pocket here to do things on. But my mind's wandering to this last page, so I might do the last page next. But yeah, I really like that idea. So I'm going to love and leave you all now. I'm going to wrap everything up as it was to give me some inspiration to carry on with my book. I really do hope you've enjoyed. Let me know if you have by leaving some comments below. And yeah, I'll hopefully all speak to you all soon. Take care, have a lovely rest of the evening or day, and I'll catch up with you soon. Bye for now.